You know, it was an interesting process and an uncertain process. You know, lots of news happening in real time, I guess. But you know, ultimately, the studio is very happy to have found a home with a publisher like Deep Silver. They've been really enthusiastic, committed partners. I think they've acted really fast to get the marketing campaign back on track, as you can see from the you can see from the event here. We've got a bit more time on the release date. Obviously, the whole process is very disruptive to the studio, and there's lots of kind of admin and paperwork that has to be done as you sync up with a new publisher. But I don't think we've lost any time on the actual game and development by taking those extra 2 months before release. So it's all systems go now for both the marketing and the game as well. So we're very happy. Yeah, it's an interesting question because Metro 2033 was, I think, embraced by fans of survival horror, because when we did that horror element, we did it really well, and there are a lot of survival horror tropes in there, the limited resources and the sense of vulnerability and isolation. We never really set out to create a particular genre of game. The story always came first and the world came first, and then we built scenarios and gameplay to suit that. So I think you're going to see a similar balance in Metro Last Light between combat, whether against humans or against mutants, and both present very different tactical challenges, but also that slow burn survival horror, exploration as you explore the city stations. Ultimately, all the gameplay is there to support the story, and it has to feel true to this world of Metro. There's this phrase, I hear so many developers say it, and they say, we've turned it up to 11. It's one of those, I guess it's appropriate for some style of games, but that's never been our philosophy for Metro. We like to think of it as being a slightly more cerebral and intelligent and sophisticated shooter, and you don't make Metro better by just increasing the body count and adding more explosions. We've tried to expand on that Metro experience in lots of different, more subtle and nuanced ways instead. So I think fans of the original shouldn't fear that we've kind of gone off in some gung-ho direction. That is absolutely not what Metro is about. I think, like all good sci-fi, Metro 2033 and the world of Metro has a deeper message underneath there as well. For Dmitry, the story's always been this allegory for human behaviour, and these factions represent existing ideologies at the moment. So that's the kind of the fabric for the storyline. When Dmitry wrote Metro 2034, it was a very different style of novel. 2033 was well suited to a video game adaptation, but 2034 is, he's described it as his kind of art house style novel. And when we decided we wanted to make a sequel and said, look, can we do something around Metro 2034, it was Dmitry who said, look, I don't think this is the right thing to do, and he created a completely original storyline to essentially continue Artyom's story. So in many ways, Metro Last Light is the true narrative sequel to Metro 2033. But as part of this process, Dmitry has developed so much more dialogue and characters than we actually got into the game. He said he put the same commitment and effort as if he was drafting a new novel, and actually the kernel now of Metro Last Light may well become a new novel by Dmitry set in the Metro universe. So the thing has kind of come full circle. Well, that's really how the relationship between Dmitry and the studio works, because Dmitry came up with the plot, the storyline, the new characters, the kind of narrative themes that we wanted to explore, and the concept. And then with Prof. Andrew Prohorov, a creative director at 4A, then worked with the team to figure out how the gameplay would then support the story, came up with the scenario design, went back to Dmitry, and then we figured out how we were going to weave the story and gameplay together. So it's been a really collaborative process. That decision not to make him speak is a conscious one. It was something that we considered changing, and aside from those chapter introductions, he doesn't speak in the first game. We just found it's actually quite jarring for a player to have the character voice an opinion or say something in game if that doesn't suit what they're thinking and feeling at their time. And what Artyom believes is the right thing to do, as with the first game, is really open to a lot of interpretation by the player, and that will inform the choices and decisions that you make throughout the game. So it's actually quite important that he doesn't speak, but we use the other characters to represent the different perspectives that you, the player, might then adopt.